Hello everybody and welcome back. We are here for the 3rd week challenge for this month. This is following the release of my new kit, So Pink, a lovely sewing theme with different sort of pinks and blacks and more sort of neutral tones. So as I said, we are on week 3. There are of course some freebies which I'll share with you in just a moment. You can find these freebies either in the Nonstop Papercrafts Facebook group. There is an album called So Pink. You can find all of the freebies for this month in there. Or they are on my Ko-fi shop as well. They are free in Ko-fi. You just need to put a 0 for the amount that you want to pay and you can download them for free. Again, if you go over to Ko-fi, you'll see all of the freebies from this month, but obviously previous months as well. So you've got 2 pages to play around with this week. So I'll just share those with you. So they are more kind of background pages. So you've got a kind of sewing pattern design in the background with floral over the top. And we've got this kind of crochet pattern as well. So just 2 pages for this week, but pattern pages are needed for the project that we are doing. So let's move those out of the way and I'll share with you what it is we're going to be making. So we're going to have a go at creating paper dresses with hangers. Now, I have seen a few tutorials on this. Gi Kerr, who I'm sure many of you have heard of, did a video, or it's such a long time ago, 4 years ago, I believe. And I will link her videos down below. And she makes this kind of dress as her example, and she also has a video on the hangers. So like I said, I'll have both those videos linked down below. I will be sharing how I'm making mine, but if you want to go and check hers out, you can obviously do that as well. I really like these dresses. These are probably one of the more simpler ones to make. It is obviously origami, so you are folding paper. So if you find it tricky, this one is a really good one to follow. I'm not going to be doing this dress today, only because I have found with the hangers, because I'm using just sort of the standard sized paper clips for my hangers. I have got some rose gold ones which are just slightly smaller, but these hangers don't fit in there. So once it's made, if I show you how it looks, the shoulders are too wide on here, so it doesn't kind of hook into the dress. So while I like this is great if you just want to kind of stick it into your journal and have a bit of decoration. You can make it maybe into a belly band or something. If you want like the kind of hanger detail, then you need a dress that's kind of narrower at the top. So I do like these. As I said, I will have G's video down below if you want to go and check that out. But yeah, this is not the one that I'm going to be doing with you today. So this is the kind of design, and as you can see, it is a little bit different because it is more kind of cinched in. It is a narrower dress, which makes it perfect for the paper clips. Now, I did try the large paper clips, but obviously then you get this huge hanger, which again is now just far too big for that dress. So I did have a go at playing with my larger size paper clips, but yeah, then you ended up with a huge monster of a hanger. So to be able to make this dress, and as you can see, even though I've used the same size paper, I have got different size dresses. It all depends on how and where you fold, which I'll go through as we're going through the demo, but you can make different sized dresses. So this one obviously has a longer body. This one has a shorter body at the top, which does then affect the overall look of the dress. So you are going to need, to be able to do this, some paper clips. As I said, I'm going to use some rose gold ones only because obviously So Pink, I want kind of that pinkish tone, so I'm going to get a couple of them out actually. So that's those ones. You're also going to need some paper. Now it has to be square. The size of the paper is entirely up to you. It depends on the size of the dress that you want to make. Now I have been using 15 by 15 centimeters, which is approximately 6 by 6 inches. That's the paper that I have been using. I have printed double-sided, so that obviously it doesn't matter how I fold it, you're always going to see a pattern. So that's what you're going to need, double-sided paper. Obviously I'm using the Freebies, and you are going to need it 6 by 6 or 15 by 15 centimeters. Like I said, the size of the square doesn't particularly matter, but it just will obviously then alter the size of your dress once it's all finished. Now, I will say the dress that I'm going to show you today, you definitely want a thin paper. You don't want to be doing anything thick. I'm just using standard copier paper, but it does get quite sort of thick at the back where you're trying to kind of cinch in that waist. So just to kind of let you know that, don't try and think, oh, I want this to last, so I want to do it in heavier paper. Just use a thin paper. Obviously, when they do origami, it's normally really thin paper, isn't it? And that's just to help with the folds and to reduce down as much bulk as you can. Right, so let's see. So let's do it. Well, let's do one of each, shall we? Let's do one of each. So I think I'll start with this pattern dress, and like I said, I'll do it twice so that you can see. So we'll make the dress, then we'll do the paper clips afterwards. So like I said, you're going to need your squared paper. It doesn't really matter the orientation at the moment. And the first thing you're going to do is just fold it in half. Now, if you've ever done origami before, you do need to be as exact as you can. So you want to fold that in half like so. Then, and I might actually get my bone folder out because I'm going to really make sure that everything's folded. You're then going to open it up. You're going to fold your inside edges in right up to that middle crease. So the way I like to do it is kind of roll it in. When I feel that it's tucked in, I hold on to the bottom and then I push up, and then that's folded exactly into the middle. Then going to do the same on the other side. So fold into the middle, find that bend, really tuck my paper in, pinch it down so I'm holding both bits of paper, and then I can push out and create that fold. Now that you've done that, you're going to open it up, and I know it's hard to see because I've got pattern paper, but you've got then 4 sections. The outer section, you're going to do the same things. You're going to roll up just to that first fold, and you're going to push down and do the same on the opposite side. So just that first flap up to that first fold, and then fold it down. Okay, so you've now got that folded in. You're then going to flip it over, and you're going to pull out the outside, and you're going to fold it to the middle. So right up to that middle crease line, spin it round, fold it right up to that middle crease. Okay, and that's what you should be ended up with. So on this side there is no opening, but on this side you've got the opening where all your folds are, and that's as far as we're going to get to. Right, I am going to repeat that again so that you can follow along. So like I said, I'm doing it twice, so I'm going to do that again. So you fold exactly in half. Okay, you then need to fold in the side up until the middle. So like I said, I fold it so I can feel that it's caught into the middle. I'll then hold on to the bottom, and then I can push out and create that fold. Again, I want to make sure it's nice and crisp, so I am going to use my bone folder. I'm then going to open it out and do the same on the other side. So again, make sure that it's really pushed down into that center fold, and then I can push it out. And again, nice crease with my bone folder. Okay, so I've now got my 4 sections, which again, I realise is hard to see because it's pattern paper. Okay, then on the very outer one, I'm going to fold that in just to that first fold line, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to push that down, and I'm going to repeat on the other side. So we're going to just curl it over, push it in, push down. Okay, so that's what we've got. Then going to flip it over so that all the folded parts are facing down, and I'm then going to pull this round to that middle section. Okay, so right up to that middle section, I'm going to spin it round, and I'm going to do the same so that it meets up into the middle like so. Okay, so that's as far as we've got. So we've got all the folded pieces on one side. If you flip it over, you've just got that center fold, you've got nothing else. Right, let's continue. So I'm going to come back to this one. I didn't go over this one with my bone folder, so I'm just going to quickly do that just to make sure it's got a lovely fold. Right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold up. So you're going to have your open piece face down and you're going to fold it backwards, but you want to leave a gap at the top. So I'm going to do it to maybe about there. And then you're going to pull it down. And again, you're going to want to give this a really nice crease where that has folded. Okay, so we've got that. And then the next thing you want to do is this bottom half is going to be the skirt, this is going to be the bodice. So you want to create a little bit of a valley at the back. So it just has to be a little bit. But this is where you alter the size of your dress, because it depends how much of a valley you kind of make, depends on how tall your bodice is going to be. It doesn't have to be exact. I'm not measuring, I'm just folding it over. I've got that little bit of a zigzag there. Okay, so I'm going to do that on the other one. So again, the open pieces are going to go face down. I'm going to fold this up. I'm going to leave a bit of a gap at the top. And then I'm going to create my fold. Again, using my bone folder just to really make sure that it's a good crease. I'm then just going to create another fold so that I've got a bit of a valley going on behind. Like I said, not measuring, just going to push it up and then give it a good press down to make sure that that's nicely folded. Okay, so we've now got two like so. Right, the next part is making the skirt. So as I said, this bottom part, the long part, is the skirt. So I'm just going to grab this top section and I'm going to pull it out to the side. Obviously you can only go as far as where that crease is, and then I'm just going to push it down. So I've pulled it out like so. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm just going to grab that top section, I'm going to pull it out to the side, and then I'm just going to push it up like so. Okay, so that's that top section. Right, now that we've done that, we're going to spin her around and we're going to start with the top part. So obviously you've got all the folded sections up here. The first thing we're going to do is open up this top part and you're going to fold over so it lines up with that outside edge like so. So it looks like you're almost making a little collar. Okay, so that's what we're going to do first. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to fold that out. I'm going to line it up with that outside edge. I'll just bring it up to show you. So it just looks like you've made a little collar. You're just lining that up with that outside edge. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do the same on the other one just so that we're all caught up. So again, my skirt, I'm just going to pull it out to the side. Like so. I'm going to do the same on the other side, so pull it out to the side. Sometimes, as you can see, this wants to kind of fold in. You do just need to kind of push it from behind so that it curves a little bit, and then you're able to push it down to kind of create those pleats in the front. Then I'm going to spin her round so she's upside down, and then I'm going to fold out these corners so that they line up with that outside edge, and it makes what looks like a little collar to begin with. Okay, so we're going to do the same on the other side. Again, I'm just going to come in with my bone folder just to really make sure those creases are in there. Let's do the same on this one. Excellent. Right, for the next stage then, what you need to do is, so you've got two pieces here, so you're going to open this up, and then where that fold has been, you're going to push it so that it comes inside. Okay. So what we've done is where it was folded here, we've kind of lifted it up. I'm opening it up here, and then I'm going to push in, and then where you've made that nice crease, it should just pop in. It's going to fold, and then you've got to pull this bit down. Okay, so you end up with that kind of flapping. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to open it up to the side. I'm going to push that in. She says sometimes it is a bit fiddly. It's fine. Oops. It's that bit there that didn't want to fold. There we go. And then it's going to fold downwards that way. Okay, so we now have that. I'm going to do that again just so that you can see. So where these are now folded over, I'm going to come in the side here. I'm going to push that in. And then obviously where I've got all of my folds, my original folds anyway, that's going to go in. This is also a good way to kind of straighten up your folds if you've gone a little bit wonky, which I feel I might have. And then that triangle just comes down along there, like so. And do the same on the other side. So open that up, push that triangle in. That one went in much easier. And then push it down. Okay, so that's where we've got so far. So I've got the same on both of my examples. I'm just going to give them a little bit of a push just to make sure. Okay, so now we should have this on the inside of both of them. So you're going to flip her over and then you're going to fold down this top part to where these two kind of triangles are. You'll notice you won't be able to fold past where you've got this line here. So you're just going to fold it back as far as it will go, like so. Okay, so that's what you've got. And then again, you're just going to kind of come in and push your finger in. And then this fold line here, you're going to line up with the kind of top edge so that you get that kind of effect. So I'll show you again on this side. So you're going to push your thumb in. That opens this up. You're going to slowly push it up so that this fold comes in line with the top. And then you can push that down. And you almost get what looks like a little heart shape. Yep, so that's what we've got so far. So I'm going to do the same on the other one. So this is how she looks. So we've got these triangles here. I'm going to flip her over. And then as you can see on the edge, we've got a lot of bulk here down the bottom, but it's only very thin here. So we're just going to fold it roughly where that bulk kind of starts. So you'll notice you won't be able to fold it down any further without it being too stiff. So we've done that. So we've folded that backwards. You're then going to pop your thumb inside the triangle, the little pocket, and then that will open it up. And then this fold line, you want to kind of push so it's in line with the top. You'll do the same on the other side. So push your thumb in and then push it up so that fold is in line with the top. And again, you kind of get that heart shape on the back. Yeah, so can you see that? It's got that heart shape on the back. Right, so that's that part. Next, we're going to try and cinch in the waist a little bit. So again, where we've got these pieces kind of folded over, this is where it starts to get a little bit stiff, but you want to try and lift it up. And obviously you can only go as far as this back panel. So you're going to lift it up and you're going to kind of create a triangle that goes in like so. And you're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to lift this up and just kind of bring it up like that. Now you're probably going to want to use a bone folder or something just to really make sure that this is burnished and flat, because this does get a little bit tricky now, because this is, like I said, this is where it gets a little bit bulky. So now that you've done those, we are going to have to then tuck this in. So similar to what we did on the other side, you want to try and push that triangle now inside. Okay, so it's going to go like that. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. So you're going to open it up and you're going to push the triangle the other way. Okay, so you've now got that kind of shape. Okay, just going to do the same on the other one just so that we're all following. So again, obviously I can only go up to where this bottom panel is, so I'm just going to fold it in so that I have a triangle flap there. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And this just creates that cinch waist that we have on the other dresses. Okay, and then now that I've done that, you need to push the triangle in the other way. So I'm going to pull it open, I'm going to push in, so it's going to do the reverse fold of what we've just done. Okay, so then you've got this funny kind of more boxy shape at the bottom. Okay, next step is to then do that on the sides as well. So you're going to go up to where the corner of this heart is, and you're now going to pull that in and obviously go as far as you can here. So it looks now like that. So I've gone right up to where the corner of the love heart part is, and I've gone as far in here as I can. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to pull it in here and go right in like so. Okay, again, I'm going to do that on the other one so that you can kind of see what we're doing. So I'm going to lift up this flap and I'm coming in as far as I can where this fold is, going right up to the top of that corner. I'll do the same on the other side. And again, just going to give it a good kind of press with my bone folder just to make it as flat as I can. Do the same on this one. Right, so that's the top half done and cinched. We now need to do the same for the bottom half. So we'll start with this one. So very similar. We're just going to, where obviously it's sticking out here, we're going to fold that in and over. And then you want to kind of just create a little bit of a fold so that it gets skinnier and skinnier. So you're not folding in that whole panel of the skirt. You kind of just want to get it skinnier and skinnier as you're going along. So I'm going to do the same on this side. So we're going to fold this bit that's sticking out here over the top of the cinched waist that we've just made. But then you also want to make sure that it gets skinnier towards the edge, because you don't want to fold over obviously the whole panel of the dress. So again, I'm just going to give that a little bit of a extra push with my bone folder, because you want to really make sure that that is creased. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other dress. So at the moment it looks like she's got super wide hips. We're going to pull those in, so that's going to fold over, and I'm then going to make sure that I come down. So it doesn't matter if you've got, so you can see here I've got a little bit of an edge folded over. It doesn't have to go right down to a point, but as close to a point as you can make it. I can do the same on the other side. So just try and push it out a little bit so it's a bit more of a point. And then just give that a bit of a crease. Right, okay, next part then we're going to flip her over, and at the moment she looks like this. Now you could potentially leave it like this and maybe that's the design of the dress, but to make it kind of look like it has a little bit of a bow, we're going to lift up this front panel and it should kind of open up. So again, if you kind of just poke your finger in, and then you're going to just push down so that that fold again just goes straight horizontally. And then you kind of get that bow look at the front. So again, I'm going to do the same. So I'm just going to poke my finger in, make sure that that fold is now horizontal, and then push it down. And then you kind of get that bow look at the front. Okay, going to do the same on this one. And like I said, you don't necessarily have to do this stage. I think it looks quite nice as it is, but I am going to do it. Now, I did follow a tutorial for this design as well. However, I cannot for the life of me remember the name. So I will have that linked down below. So if you want to follow the tutorial that I followed, if perhaps mine wasn't clear, then you can go and check that out. But now we've got two dresses now, so they've got a cinched waist. This one from Gi, I think, is much simpler. There's not quite so many folds, but obviously it being a wider dress, it just doesn't fit my coat hangers, which is why I've decided to show you these. But as I said, I will have Gi's videos linked down below, and I'll have this person linked down below as well. And then you can go and watch theirs if you like. Right, now for the coat hangers. Now for the coat hangers, you are going to need paper clips, and you are going to need some different jewellery making style pliers. So I've got these, which are a flat, I've got a round nose, and I've got some wire cutters. So you're going to need those to be able to do this. And then all you do is with your paper clip, you're going to have this kind of short end on top. And the first thing you're going to do is just using your flat nose, you're just going to pull that up. Now again, Gi does have a video on this, so I'll have that link down below as well. I'm going to then flip it over, and I'm going to do the same for the other one. So I'm just going to pull that out and up. And this one is going to make the kind of hook part. So I'm just going to come down a little bit, and then I'm going to bend it up, because that's then going to create the hook. But obviously this bit's a bit too long, so this is where we're going to need the cutters, because we need to cut a little bit of that off. So you're just going to come in, snip a bit off. Where's that gone? There it is. And then you kind of end up with that. So to join these two, this is where your round ones are going to come in. You're just going to kind of push this forward a little bit. And then at the very, very end, you're just going to grab it with your round pliers, and you just curl it round, because you want it to wrap around that other one. Oops. I then use my flat pliers just to kind of press it down into the other one, because obviously I don't want it poking at all. So sorry, this is quite a fiddly job, so you're probably not going to see every single stage. I'm just going to round that a little bit more, I think. Oops. Oh man. You all know I'm not the best at fiddly, but it was so cute. I really liked this idea, so that's why I wanted to do it. Okay, that's a bit better. Let's try and now flatten that out a little bit. I'm just going to lift this up, because this seems to be curving down, which I don't want. That's a bit better. Right, so like that. So then you end up with your little hanger. I am just going to flatten this side a little bit. And then you can just slot that into your dress. You now have a dress with a hanger. So I'm going to do that one more time so I can show you for this one. So again, you're going to get your paper clip. Let's put that one away. You want your short end on top, and that's the one that you kind of lift up. I'm then going to flip it round, and I'm going to do the same for the next part, because this bit's going to be the bit that becomes your hook. And then roughly where it's going to meet this one on top, that's where I kind of twist it and I pull up, so we've got the hook. Then obviously, because the hook is far too long, I just come in with my clippers and snip that bit off. Then with your round pliers, kind of pull it forward, and then you're going to want to twist it round. Oh, that did a much better job that time round, didn't it? Right, okay, let's pick this one back up again because that started going down, and then I can flatten that. Yeah, that one worked much better that time round, didn't it? And then again, I'm just going to squish this side down a little bit. Again, just maybe pull that one up a little bit, and then there's your coat hanger. And again, you can just slot that in the back. And there you have your little dress. Now, there are lots of things that you could do with these. You could have these kind of tucked into a pocket. I might be inclined to stick these onto maybe a panel, and then it can become maybe a belly band or something in your journal. But I just thought that this might be a really fun challenge, and these look really good with different patterned papers as well. Obviously for this challenge it'll be great if you use the freebies, but you don't have to use the freebie papers for this. Any 6x6 pattern paper, as long as it's double-sided, because otherwise you are going to see white in parts. Pattern papers, double-sided is obviously the best. As I said, I will have videos down below where I kind of got the inspiration for these. I'll have the link to the tutorial that I followed for this style dress. I'll also have Gi's video for her dress, and she did a video for the hangers as well. So I'll make sure all of that's included down below for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this challenge. If you have enjoyed this video, then I would really appreciate a thumbs up. Please feel free to drop me a comment as well. I would really love to hear from you. If you are not already a subscriber, obviously I would absolutely love for you to do so. Please also make sure that you click that bell, that way you are notified of any new crafty videos. Now, this is the 3rd week challenge. This is the final week challenge. Make sure that you're posting in the Facebook group Nonstop Papercrafts. Next week there will not be a challenge, but it will be kind of the catch-up week, so you can post anything. Now, you don't necessarily have to make these dresses. This is the challenge for this week, but if you decide to create something else, there are lots of actually different origami style garments that you can make. You can make jackets, I've seen. You can make like little shirts and things like that. So if you want to make something else with these, that's fine. Still post them in the Facebook group. For each post that you make throughout the month of July in the Facebook group, if you have used the freebies only, then you get 1 entry per post that you make. And as I said, you can do the challenges, you can do something else. It doesn't matter. But if you use the freebies only, you get 1 entry per post that you make. If you decide to use elements from the paid kit or pages from the paid kit, then you get 2 entries per post that you make throughout the month of July. And then what I'll do is after that 4th week, when everybody has a chance to kind of catch up, there will be a winners drawing at the end. And I normally pick 3 winners who can choose a kit from my shop. So if that's of interest to you, then I would really love to see your creations. Well, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.